Today I'm going to show you how to add two fractions with an unlike denominator. You remember what a denominator is. It's the bottom number on a fraction. The denominator tells how many parts are in the whole. You can see that in this diagram. If you look at the black circles, you can see that this is a diagram for thirds. The whole is divided into 3 equal parts. You can see the same underneath for sixth. You can see that the whole is divided into 6 equal parts. So, to add these fractions, we need to find a common denominator. There are a few ways that we can do that. My multiplication chart can come in handy when trying to find a common denominator. So if I follow the thirds all the way down, because that is the smaller denominator, and I'm trying to find out if it's a multiple of sixth, I can see that 1/3 is equal to 2/6. So I've found my common denominator using my chart. I can also skip count by taking the smaller number, and that would be 3, and skip counting. 3, 6, oh, there it is. So 6 is a multiple of, 3 is a multiple of 6, and therefore 6 is the common denominator. 1/6 does not need to be renamed because it already has a common denominator of 6, but I do need to rename 1/3 into 6. Now, when I look at my chart, I can see that that is 2/6. I can check that by using multiplication, which is another way to find a common denominator. So 3 times 2 is 6, and I know that to create an equivalent fraction that I need to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So 1 times 2 equals 2. So I know that I am correct. Now I can add up my new equation. 1/6 plus 2/6 is 3/6. Now some of you may know that 3/6 is equal to 1/2, and you can feel free to rename it in simplest form if you like. I can check my answer of 3/6 because I can check to see that 2/6 plus 1/6 is equal to 3/6. And that is, if I follow my chart up, equal to 1/2. Let's try another problem. This problem is 1/7 plus 10/21. That sounds funny, doesn't it? Well, the first thing I need to do is decide, is one number a multiple of the other, and I know I can use my chart for that. Now I'm looking on my chart and I'm noticing that it goes from 6 to 8 and does not have sevenths. It also doesn't go as high as 21. So I'm going to need to use a different strategy. I won't be able to use my chart for this one. I'll need to use a multiple strategy. And I'm going to take the smaller denominator, which is 7, and I'm going to start skip counting. 7, 14, 21. Oh, there it is. Now, if I skip count and I run into the other denominator like I did, 21, then I know that that is the common denominator, that 7 is a multiple of 21. So 10/21 can stay the same. I'm going to extend my line, and then I need to rename 1/7 into 21/21. So I cannot use this chart to help me with that either, so I'm going to need to use multiplication. Now I notice down here in the multiples that I am multiplying 7 by 1, by 2, and by 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. So 1 times 3, I need to multiply the numerator by the same number to get an equivalent fraction, is 3. So now I can add up my new equation. 3/21 plus 10/21 equals 13/21. Let's try one more problem. This one doesn't have any unit fractions with a 1 in the numerator. We are going to add 2/3 plus 4/12. Now I know that one tool I can use is my fraction chart. Even though it can't always be used, it's always good to check it. So I am looking at thirds and twelfths in the denominator. So 2/3, if I go to 2/3 and I follow it down in a nice straight line, I will find out that 2/3, oh my goodness, look at that. It's not, let me erase it and I'm going to try again. You know, sometimes when we draw our line, it really doesn't go down the way we expected it. So we might have to draw it again. Don't make that mistake. So I'm going to carefully go down in a straight line. I know that 2/3 is equal to 4/6, so I think I'm on the right track here. And then if I look, I've got twelfths right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 twelfths. So I think that 2/3 is equal to 8 twelfths. And 4/12 can stay the same. Now, I could check it with multiples, so I could skip count by threes, right? 3 times 1 is 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, there it is. So I can verify that. So I know that 12 is the right denominator. And I can use multiplication to check the numerators. So 4/12 is staying the same. I don't need to do anything. So 3 times what equals 12? Well, I know it's 4. And so I need to multiply the numerator also by 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. So now I verified both with the chart and with some multiplication that my numbers are correct and that 2/3 is equal to 8 twelfths. Now I can add 8 twelfths plus 4 twelfths, which is 12 twelfths or 1 whole. And I can check that down here because I know that this is 8 twelfths. And if I add 4 more twelfths, I see that I have the whole thing. Now it's your turn. Remember that you can use your multiplication chart. You can use a diagram that you draw on your own. You can use multiples and multiplication. Use all the tools in your toolbox to add fractions with unlike denominators.